Happy Friday to everyone. It's Pip, and hopefully you can hear me all right and see me all right. We are live on the east side of Salt Lake City International Airport for Pip's Planespotting Live. Thanks for the likes already. It's a joyous crowd, it seems. I'm thrilled to have you with us. And you are looking at Terminal or Concourse A of the new Salt Lake City International Airport that was finished back in late 2020. So good that you could have us join us and be a part of the action. For those who are new, we sure appreciate you joining in, being part of the party. Feel free to join us and say hi in the chat. Let me know how things look and how the audio sounds. We just missed. I still fight with the A330 Neo. We just missed it before we came on the air by about 10 minutes. So thanks to Delta for being on time or early again from Paris. But we still have a busy 2 hours ahead of us here on the west side of the airport, not the east side, the west side. And hopefully you'll get a different perspective and see a lot more gate to gate traffic that comes with it. And we're excited about that. I show that Amsterdam Delta 57 on an A330 should arrive in about a half an hour. And then our London arrival that we're looking for in the 2 o'clock hour. Let's see if they still have it or if they've moved it. Closer eye. They may have moved it or it may not be running today. That's surprising. Well, regardless, we still get a lot of good action for you today here on the west side of the airport. My name is Pip, and you may be just tuning in for the first time or coming back. We welcome you back. And this also from yesterday, the sun's not in our face, which is a nice little bonus. So we've got that going for us. On the east side where we were yesterday, it looks like they are taking Southwest Flight 706 from Austin on a 737-700 and then going there. Meanwhile, it looks like from Billings, Montana, we've got a Delta 3922. It's about 10 minutes out. And it's a bit windy today. I didn't expect this, but we had, I think, some lake effect snow from the Great Salt Lake, and we had a little snow action going on. But regardless, it's sunny now, just a little bit windy. Hopefully the winds will calm down because I am high above and the wind is like worse than ever. So regardless, our old buddy from the videos, Morgan, should be tuning in. So hopefully we'll say hi to him. And while he's back in the Midwest, I'm out here in the West. So let me know if there's anything I can improve on or if there's everything's sounding okay. We sure appreciate feedback and having you join us today. And if you're just tuning into the channel, I've started something new called Pip's Clips, which are 60-second aviation plane spotting morsels of 60 seconds or less. So if there's a particular plane you're looking for or you like a particular airline, you don't have to go scanning through the entire video. I've just cut them up individually to kind of make them more compact and more of those bite-sized morsels of aviation goodness. Hey everyone, for tuning in. Feel free to say hi in the chat or give us a like. It is Pip. It's cold. It's windy, but that's okay. We're here in Salt Lake today, and we're looking west. So I'm going to scan a little bit. If you can see the mountains out there towards the west, that's where you go to the Bonneville Salt Flats. Hey, Pip. San Antonio. All right. Thanks for saying hi. I'm sure it's much warmer in San Antonio. Did you guys have storms too last night? I was watching the forecast. So I have family that lives in Dallas. And so I was keeping an eye on the radar last night, but it looked like that squall line stretched about 200 miles or down all the way down to Austin or close to San Antonio. Well, hi from Hamburg. Thank you so much. Willkommen, as they would say. I hope I said that correct from Germany. We're at Salt Lake City International Airport in Salt Lake, Utah. Yeah, they said in Dallas they got. I was watching. They got 80-mile-per-hour winds at Love Field, so that's where Southwest flies in Dallas, and they were getting close to. Yeah, yep. Did you? How much were your winds last night? Yeah, because I ate about 80 miles an hour is what I saw in Dallas last night. So I don't know what it was like in San Antonio. But I love me. I love Germany and aviation plane spotting in Germany, which is where I want to go. And of course, how can you go wrong with good chocolate? So can't beat it. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you were. There's some pretty severe gusts that we were watching last night. So I'm glad your roof did not blow off. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, I didn't know what would happen last night, if it was going to be like the big hail or if it was going to be tornadoes or what. But yeah, everybody I talked to said it was some really strong gusts. And you never know. I mean, it's early March, so who knows how busy it's gonna or crazy of a weather um, year it is for severe weather. So we'll see what happens. But out here, we just have uh, the old snow. You can see the mountains. The To me, the better view is actually on the east side of the airport where we were, because that's where the city faces. But it's still got some good snow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Nashville is definitely. It's funny how Tornado Alley is like moving from Texas and Oklahoma east towards Tennessee and Alabama and Mississippi. Like that's where all the big tornadoes happen. So I was wondering, since you mentioned Nashville, were you there a couple years ago when they had that tornado that tore through downtown? And if you're just tuning in, thanks for being part of the broadcast and the likes. We're at Salt Lake International Airport on the west side of the airport today. So there you see Concourse A, and there are two concourses in at the new Salt Lake International Airport. But Concourse A is owned by Delta, so most of your Delta flights are going to be Concourse A and much less of a walk. So, but thanks for tuning in. My name's Pip, and this is what we do along with flight dispatching videos, plane spotting videos, and other things dealing with aviation. So I encourage you to subscribe if you want to stay in the loop. Nashville got flooded out. Ugh, that sounds awful. Yeah, wow. I don't know if I remember that far back, but that sounds pretty awful. Good old Opryland getting flooded. I have not been to Nashville in a while. But I do have a plane spotting video up there. I was there just before COVID hit. So that was back in early 2020. And really enjoyed it out there. It's really pretty out there, even during the fall time. I think the most I was on vacation. I grew up in Chicago. We had, in 2 days, we had 16 inches of rain. And, over a foot of water. That's awful. That is not good. Yeah, and I think it's kind of raining pretty hard in the Midwest and Arkansas today. So hopefully this wind will start to calm down. Apologize. It's being pretty annoying. Yeah, I'm sure it was a ton of rain regardless of what happened, but it should be a busy spring as far as severe weather goes. Inbound, that is Delta 932. That is a 737-900 from Minneapolis. Yeah, Salt Lake is pretty beautiful, and that's pretty rain for 4 weeks, huh? Yes, the seasons. Yeah, you don't have much of seasons there down in South Texas. You have you basically have summer and then fall. So I actually lived in Dallas for a few years. So yeah, there's not much seasoning going on there. Very few seasons. Looks like we got a lot of delayed aircraft coming from the east due to the weather from last night. So yes, I will agree with that. So I also lived in southern Indiana, so I got to drive down to Kentucky, and spring's beautiful there. Yeah, absolutely. Even fall. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I lived about 70 miles from Louisville in southern Indiana. Be a little bit light this hour, but should have a lot of arrivals the next hour. And we'll catch the action on the gates as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. 30 minutes south of the Kentucky border. Yeah, because Nashville's pretty much in the northern part of the state. What year did I start plane spotting? Yeah, BG. Great question. So I started plane spotting. So I grew up in Chicago, and I lived there for the first 20 plus years of my life. And in reality, I should have done a lot more of it when I was younger because I've always loved aviation. But I didn't start plane spotting until about 3 years ago, which is actually funny enough, just before I went to school for flight dispatching. So kind of interesting how that happened. Yeah, Salt Lake is pretty busy. Salt Lake, most people don't know, the actual city is only about 200,000 people, but the metro area is where most of the population is. And so you got close to 2 million people 50 minutes north, 50 minutes south of here. And Salt Lake International is actually where Delta has one of its hubs, as you can probably tell by now, for those who are just tuning in. So they do a lot of flights out of here. I think they do probably close to 300 daily flights. Yes, that's correct. BYU is in Provo, which is about 45 minutes south of here, and University of Utah is in Salt Lake. So we're no more than 15 minutes from the University of Utah up on the hill. So yeah, good geography, good memory. And BG, I hope I answered your question. So probably 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, when I first started getting interested in flight dispatching. So it was about 4 years ago. Now, BG, I have a question for you. So are you close to any like the big airports like Frankfurt and Munich or any of those airports? Yeah, they do have their own airport, or excuse me, their own hospital. So yeah, they do a lot of research up there. Um, that is correct. Man knows his geography, current events as well. Yeah, so for those who are just tuning in, I'll repeat myself. My main job? No, it's not my main job. Great question. I wish it was. I wish I was getting paid for this because I love doing this stuff. But I actually just started this in the meantime, and I'm building a website hopefully for it's. I think I'm going to call it Pippin the Pilot. So I used to be a flight dispatcher, and I have a really good friend who's a first officer, and another good friend who's a flight instructor. So I'd like to build that for an aviation news and knowledge website. But this is episode 14 that I've been doing. So things have gotten a little bit better each time, but have not monetized it yet. So if you want to make a donation, we'll have that up soon so we can travel new places. And equipment is not cheap, but regardless, the other thing I love doing is teaching people about aviation. So for right now, this is just something I do on the side. My main job is I'm preparing to go to MBA school or Master's of Business Administration school. And then I'll also be working for a railroad company for some of the time. So in between that, hopefully, you got to get a job. So if you want to start your own business, you can fund it. But that kind of helps. Hope that answers a little bit. But if you look on my channel, BG, some of my videos have to do with flight dispatching, which is a type of career here in the United States and for commercial aviation. And it's kind of like the invisible pilot nobody sees that works in an operations center where you can keep track of all the flights. So I hope that gives you a little background. But that's what I used to do for 4 years. And then I stepped away because I had worked for a startup airline, which was exciting and fun, but it was also extremely stressful. It was like taking care of a baby. So, not that I've ever had kids, but you're constantly involved with it. So now I'm just preparing for school, doing that railroad job, and then I'll go to school in the fall. But hopefully, I'll get things up and running where I can do this more and be a part of the aviation scene. Sorry about the wind. I thought it would dissipate, but there's still a little bit of wind, so I'll try and cover it with my mouth. But hope that thanks so much for the questions. I love questions. And if there's anything I can do to help you guys out, don't hesitate to ask. In fact, let me give you my Instagram address. So if you want to message me privately, you can do that. If you have aviation related questions, my Instagram is just 23R Productions, and it's Pip Hastings. And 23 Right Productions has some of my photography. So hope that helps. And thanks so much for tuning in. Yeah. Amen, Billy. I apologize. My apologies. It is quite blustery today. Yeah, you can chastise me for that one. I will use my Moses powers to to try and calm the wind. So I will do my best. Good to see you. But right now we have a direct feed. We're looking directly at Concourse A. And let's see what planes we've got so far. All right, so that looks like, based on the curvature of the front, I'm going to say that's an A220. And then, no, that's an A220. That's an A220. You can tell because the larger windows. That looks like an A320. And then the ones, of course, further out on the concourse, it looks like we've got twins, a pair of 737 900s. We'll get a mic muff when we start funding the operation. If you're just tuning in, thanks for saying hi. We're here on a blustery, sunny Salt Lake City Friday afternoon, and we'll be here till 3 o'clock today. So for another 90 minutes. And glad you could join us. And thanks for the likes and tuning in. Really appreciate that. That helps the channel. Eventually, we're close to being able to accept donations. So we're excited for that. And it's just me right now. I'm trying to get some of my other aviation buddies to join in, but they're obviously busy working in aviation. So hopefully one of them is resigning soon and can join the party. Yesterday we were on the east side, and today we're on the west side. We might go back to the east side if this weekend if I'm around. I was thinking about traveling, but not too sure on that just yet. If you're new to the channel, my name's Pip. My background, last 4 years I spent as a flight dispatcher for both a regional and a mainline airline. And we're looking at the west side of Salt Lake City International Airport. If you want to see what the east side looks, I also have a video up in the live section from yesterday. So if you want to watch that live stream after this is over or want to check that out, that is there recorded. So I hope that helps give you a better visualization of what's going on. It's a A321 inbound. Just arrived from, let's see, that is Atlanta. So it looks like it's going to head to one of the gates in the 20s. The way Salt Lake City International is laid out is it's got two concourses that are parallel. So you can see that second building in the background, and there's an underground walkway for passengers if they need to go from concourse A to concourse B. Let me tell you, it's long. It is one long walk. In fact, I believe somebody measured it recently, and it was close to a mile from being dropped off at the terminal, walking through security, trying to get to concourse B. Inbound, we do have whoops, sorry about that. That stupid camera, it wants to be a part of the action. It is the action. Inbound, we've got a tiny little CRJ 200 from Elko, Nevada. There we've got Alaska flights headed to Seattle. We'll kind of head back towards the beginning of runway 34 left. I just like to know who's the jerk who ordered the win today, folks. Well, it's a good thing for landing, not so much for doing everything else, but that's all right. Again, this is Pip broadcasting live from Salt Lake City International Airport. We'll be here till about 3 o'clock local time, or for you aviation fanatics, that will be until 22Z. And we do like to go by UTC time. If you've checked out the videos that I put out each day, reminding people when and where we're going to be there. Speaking of which, yeah, to subscribe is usually the best way to find out when we're going to be somewhere and when, because the day before, the night before usually, or the morning of, we'll put out a video saying where we're going to be and what time, so that you know and can tune in. So I encourage you all to subscribe if you're just tuning in, so that you can find out where we're going to be and when. Hey, John. Good day, sir. Good to see you. What's new? It is a sunny and windy day as we're waiting for this Boeing 737-900 to take off to Seattle. Now, John, remind me where you're at geography-wise. That's what I thought. I thought you were in Pittsburgh, but there were a couple of Johns I think I had. So yeah, wet and windy in Pittsburgh. That sounds about right. That's one heck of a low pressure system across the eastern part of the United States. I mean, it goes all the way down to Arkansas and everything. So yeah, stay warm. Oh, that sounds disgusting. Wet and windy and 40 degrees. Ugh. That's when you call in sick and get yourself some soup and just watch Planespotting all day. So that is very true. That is very true. We are expecting, John, tomorrow and the weekend. It's like a mixture of rain and snow. The weekend, the mountains are, of course, will get the snow. And as you can kind of see here, absolutely. That sounds really good too. I was thinking about going to Colorado in the mountains, but this weekend, but and it won't be too cold, but just when you have when dealing with the cold, it just makes things so much worse. So I was looking at Aspen, and Eagle County are going to have winds of like 20 knots each. So it's kind of like maybe not so much. So the wind is blowing here in northwest about 15 miles an hour. You're right, Billy. And if I could eventually, when I can get some funding and we're able to get the channel to donate, that'll happen. But for right now, get the old purse strings pretty tight. I agree. I agree, sir. Okay, so I'm covering my mouth straight up, and I think that that got rid of the wind. So I need like a helmet over my face. Where we're pointing the camera is the south. We're looking south southwest. So if you're flying into Salt Lake, in topography wise, where we have the camera pointed, that is looking south south west, and that's the Ochre Mountains. Now, if we were to flip things and go on the east side, which we may do later on this week, that'll be the Wasatch Mountains, and that's a totally different range. So it's kind of unique. So, little fun tidbit for you. And if I point the camera straight that way, we'll see how far we can get. And we'll zoom in a little bit here. See if that CRJ's made its way in yet. All right, so as we're zooming in here from Salt Lake Airport, those mountains right there, past those mountains, and there's a city called Stansbury Park and a city called Tooele. Beyond that, there's literally absolutely nothing, and that's where they do all this speed tests, the Bonneville Salt Flats. If you know and have heard of those, that's where all the speed records are set. So another little interesting fun fact, and it's about probably an hour, so it's really not that far. And then you're just middle of the high desert in the Bonneville Salt Flats. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Apologize for the wind, but Mother Nature has a battle against me. So I'm going to talk to her later about it. But in the meantime, if you're new to the channel, we'd love for you to like and subscribe. That way you'll know where and when we'll be broadcasting next, because we typically will do a video the night before or the morning of where we're going to be and when. So I hope that helps things out. I think what I'm going to do is if I have something to say, is like as if I don't. I'm going to turn the mic off. I'm just going to mute it for a second so the wind's not as annoying. Nice. So very nice. So UC Boulder. Oh, that's beautiful. Very cool. John, you remember what the altitude up there in Boulder? It's pretty high, isn't it? Isn't it like 6,000 feet or something? Yeah. Yep. High desert mountains. Definitely. Oh, very nice. Both daughters BYU. Awesome. That is a beautiful place to go to college, like Boulder and oh, what's a really another University of Washington because it's right along the bay there, BYU, and then the U up on the hill, which is by side note. Um, that's where I probably will be going to grad school is the U for the MBA. You know, I haven't heard back from BYU yet, but see now, John, I thought about here's my idea, and tell me if I'm crazy here. You know, I don't know what rent is like in Pittsburgh, but here in Salt Lake, it's crazy ridiculous. You know, it's out of control in house prices. So I was thinking that for the summertime, just before I start school, that I would just live in my truck in Park City because it would be warm enough during the day and then be like 50 degrees, 50, 55 degrees at night. So I could have that natural air conditioner. And I also did live um, in Wyoming for a couple of years. So in Green River, which is about 2.5 hours from here. And most homes didn't even have an air conditioning. They just had a heater because you could leave the windows open at night and you'd have that natural air conditioner. BYU is a good school. The U's a good school. Even UVU is now a university. So, yeah, there's a lot of expansion of education here in Salt Lake. Take a look at this 737-700 headed down to Los Angeles. And thanks for the like. We sure appreciate you tuning in. It's just me, Pip, and having some fun till 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Oops. All right. Safe travels to Los Angeles for that Southwest flight. As we pan back over to Concourse A at Salt Lake City International Airport. Actually, we'll keep it here. No, because we got that CRJ in. Oh, that sounds great, John. That's pretty awesome. That is actually really cool. Yeah, so at least I've got. Maybe I can get like a solar. Oh, you know what? My friend has a solar panel for his truck. He went full like mobile living. He's got an old Dodge Ram 1500, and I worked with him, but his family's all back in Arkansas. Uh, his wife and kids and everything. He took this new job, and but so he's living in his truck, but he's got like a solar panel and an inbuilt heater. But John, that sounds way better, and like you said, way ahead of its time. There's that CRJ 200 from Melco, a Delta Connection flight. Sounds like a great place to sleep, John. No doubt. Good news. folks, if you're a fan of the heavies, we've got an A330 inbound in the next 10 minutes. I believe they'll be sending them to us on runway 34 left, which is where we've been all day and looking. Sandstone holds the heat quite well. All right. I like where this is going. This is a very functional discussion on self-sustaining sources. I like this. Sandstone. All right. Sandstone. All right. And by the way, thanks for everybody tuning in. I see we've got a few people who just jumped in on the same time. I'm Pip, flying solo today, and a little windy here in Salt Lake City. We're looking at Salt Lake International Airport. The camera is pointed south-southwest, where we expect the arrivals to come from. But pleased to have that. Pleased to have you, I should say, with you. And if you like what you see and what you hear, we'd encourage you to like the video and subscribe. Subscribing is the best way to find out where we're going to be and when. And we're currently having a discussion how to heat my truck in the summertime. And so far, sandstone is an option while I sleep in it just before school. Now, John, are you a geologist? Oh. There's that A330 300 on Delta 56 inbound from Amsterdam. That is one smooth landing. All right. PhD in natural history. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. I'll just call you Dr. English from now on, or Dr. John. My grandfather had his PhD in physics. So he's long since passed away, but it was always fun talking science with him. So very cool. Dr. John. Kudos to that A330 pilot. He nailed that landing. That's just smooth. Inbound to us, we've got another CRJ 200. We don't see too many of those, and I don't know how much longer they're going to be around, so it's always cool to see one. CRJ 200 inbound from Butte, Montana on 4323. It's about 2 o'clock, or should say quarter to 2 local time here at Salt Lake City International Airport. This is my home base, in case you're wondering, but we do like to get out and travel. I was in Phoenix and Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and as soon as we're able to build the channel, if you'd like to donate, we would love to have you, and we can travel. Your son is an archaeologist and grandson aviary biologist, an avian biologist. Okay. Wow. Very the family of scientists indeed. That's outstanding. Yeah, I kind of did too. So my dad was a math and physics undergrad, and I ended up in communications. So yeah, I didn't have so much the science intellect, the math and science intellect, but surprisingly, like aviation, just when I went to flight dispatch school, it just clicked with me. It was funny because there's not a ton, and there's not a ton of math and science involved. So I think that's how I got away with it. But overall, as we're looking south southwest from the camera view, overall it, there is definitely a component of science that comes with aviation. But I got I got by where I didn't have to do too much. As we look at the CRJ 4323 Delta connection inbound from Butte, Montana. Petrochemical engineer. All right. So was he worked at oil companies then? Ooh. Looks like we got the Team USA A330-900. Did not expect to see that today, but what a pleasant surprise. Yeah, math is hard. I'm afraid of statistics. Okay, Gulf Oil. So you guys were on the East Coast then, or more the eastern part? Amoco. When I was a kid, Amoco, was big in Chicago and the Standard Oil building. So, and then BP merged with them, and so now it was BP. But I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. But very cool. All right, so I want to see where this A330 is headed. So it looks like this is our departure to Paris. Everybody's on board and out in under an hour. That's a good turn right there, folks. That's a nice turn. And while check that out. When you say you meant John, you mentioned Gulf, and I just instantly think the Gulf oil sign at Fenway, like back in the olden days, like in the '90s. So yeah, very cool. So this is an A330-900. This is the Team USA livery, the plane they took to the Olympics. And then behind them, we've got Southwest. Looks like it's a Max Attack. So 737 Max 8. And a little bit behind them, got an A319. And in the meantime, we'll let the 330 Neo steal the show as it heads off to Paris. Yeah, it kind of is rush hour. Looking sharp. It's A330-900, the new engine option. John, on Sunday when I was here, there was probably 2 or 3 times when we probably had, like, on the east side, probably 8 or 9 airplanes. There's 30 minutes straight where it was just departure, departure, departure. So, yeah, it is a Friday. Everybody trying to get home if they haven't already. And then a lot of the skiers are coming in for this weekend. So the east side is going to be very busy with general aviation. If you're just tuning in, my name's Pip. I am at Salt Lake City International Airport. All right, man. I will do my best to be on for sure. I will be up and busy. And we'll put out a video to make sure what I'm up to this weekend. So we'll stay busy. This is Max 8. I think this one is heading off to Vegas. Sit back with the hot chocolate and tea there, John, in Pittsburgh, raining Pittsburgh, eh? Kick back and relax. Later. Thanks for saying hi. Good to see you. Don't want to move the camera too fast, freeze everything up, so I'm moving a little bit slower. But thanks for the likes and thanks for everybody for tuning in. Still got about another hour or so that we're going to be on the air. And thrilled to have you on board. Feel free to say hi if you're new to the channel, and also subscribe if you'd like. I'd love to hear from you and have you join the party. See that E175 stealing the show, eh? I didn't catch that one, but nice landing. Got a pretty stiff north wind, probably 20 miles an hour. Maybe not that much. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Now we've got an A319 ready to get takeoff from Delta. This is Delta 1381 headed to Austin, Texas on a 319. Bring back some barbecue. Of course, Texas is known for having a really good barbecue, and it's actually true. I lived in Dallas for a few years. Big fan of brisket. Big fan of brisket, and big fan of smoked bacon. Mm-mm. to zoom in on that guy right there. That guy's one of the wing walkers. Make sure that the plane doesn't hit anything. So they're out in all weather. And looks like they're headed to gate 8 Alpha. 8 Alpha. And in the meantime, we've got a pushback rolling with some wing walkers. That guy is wearing shorts. Can we zoom in on that? Let's zoom in on that. Yeah, I think he's wearing shorts, folks. He's obviously crazy. 40 degrees is acceptable for shorts, especially with no wind, but otherwise that's pretty wild. So that's an A220. Looks like the 100 variant. Let's get a pushback. I can't wait. I can't begin to express to you when it becomes warmer. Because right now I have a beanie, a scarf, a jacket, pants, gloves. So I'm really looking forward to the day when we can have better weather. So But if you're just tuning in, it's a sunny day, and so it's a great day for aviation. We are facing the west. So we might get a little bit of action from the sun, but overall, it should be good viewing day and good viz. Taking a look at the arrivals. Should see Delta 5111 from Great Falls on a 175 inbound, and then also Delta 3515 from Cowspell inbound momentarily in the next 10 minutes. Hey, everybody, thanks for saying hi. See some new people joining in, jumping in. Don't hesitate to say hi. Glad that you could join us here in the conversation. And live games with Adam. Poop. Indeed. I think that's something that we can all agree on. Poop. Well, thanks for joining the party. Always have that one guy, right? So we should see a couple of 175s on this side. And then I think we may get the jet blue. JetBlue arrival from Los Angeles as we're looking at Concourse A at Salt Lake City Airport. A321, just arriving from the East Coast. Delta 663 looking at arriving from Atlanta. Thanks for the like and joining the conversation. See those E175s inbound in the next 5 minutes. As we pan the camera to the southwest, we'll see that Embraer E175 show up momentarily. This is runway 16 left or 34 left that they're landing on. So this is the western side of the airport, and east side has runway 35 and runway 34 right. So that one was inbound from Montana. And the next one will be from Montana as well. Kalispell, just south of the Canadian border where Glacier National Park is. Highly recommend going there in the summertime. Gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. If you're new to the channel, we encourage you to like and subscribe so you know where we're going to be. And the best way is we'll tell you, I'll do a video the night before or the morning of where we're going to be broadcasting from and when, so that you can tune in. So you just hit the subscribe tab on our channel and you'll know where we're going to be at. Thanks for the like and thanks for tuning in. Welcome. My name's Pip, and we'll be broadcasting here for about another hour. We are at Salt Lake City International Airport. We're looking at the west side of the airport. The airport has parallel runways. Runway 34 left, 16 right is on this side, the west side, and runways 16 left and 34 right and 17 and 35 are on the east side. And we try and rotate to give a little variety. Inbound to us, looks like we've got 3924, that is from Albuquerque. That A220 that's hanging out, I wonder if they've been put in the penalty box, is headed to San Antonio And right behind them is Delta 1152, a 737-800 headed to Nashville. So there's 1152 headed to Nashville on that 800 series. Perhaps that 220's got a little mechanical issue. Those planes tend to be a little bit sensitive if you've ever flown one or dispatched one or worked on one. There are currently 3 U.S. carriers who fly the A220. That is Delta, of course. Then there's JetBlue, and the newest is Breeze Airways. Thanks for the like and tuning in. My name's Pip. Great that you could join the party. It's a Friday afternoon party. So if you're on the East Coast, probably 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you're probably out the door by now. But if you're not, thanks for staying with us. And DFW Plane Spotters, hello to you. Thanks for saying hi. I hope that you're okay after the storms last night. I actually, I've got family in Frisco, so I was keeping an eye on the weather, and I lived there for 3 or 4 years. So I hope everything and your roof didn't blow off, because it seems like a few people's roofs blew off. No power. Okay, no power outages. That's good. Had dinner around 7. Whoa, tower had to be evacuated. Crazy. I know. I was watching WFAA stream last night, one of the local news stations. They said Love also had 76 mile per hour winds. So yeah, it's pretty wild. It was more like a squall line. Like looking at the forward forecast, I didn't think tornadoes were going to be a major issue. Is like the straight line winds, and there certainly were. So I'm glad all is well. But you're probably used to that. Being in DFW happens all the time, right? I was there, so I was working at the time for a radio station when the tornado rolled through Highland Park and West Dallas. Like it was October. It was a Sunday night because I was watching. It was the Eagles and Cowboys, I think. So you are definitely used to that kind of weather. How long have you been in DFW? 40 knot winds, an E120. Okay. Dang. Probably took off in like 300 feet. $11.52 headed to Nashville is what we're looking at on a 737-800. 20 plus years. Okay. So you know it better than I do. Much better than I do. Just another day at the park, right? The thunderstorms roll in about 6 or 7, and then it's all calm after the cold front moves through. Well, that's pretty crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. But you'll probably have like a day or two of those each year. Oh, wow. 777 and the Turkish Delight. They're like, we're going to pass on this one. And what were the winds straight out of like the north, or was it like a westerly wind? Because I know the runways, except for 1331, they're all parallel to the north and south. So I wonder how bad the crosswind was. I was trying to read your earlier chat about uh, flight simulator. Yeah, so I was wondering how bad the crosswinds were. That's crazy. The whole airport goes from landing to one and one takeoff. Dang. Yeah, definitely that is a blessing, especially in North Texas, because you know better than I do how prevalent hail is with thunderstorms in like DFW and Texas, North Texas for sure. Speaking of Texas, that's that A220 off to San Antonio. So we'll be on the air for about another hour, 45 minutes to an hour. I am indeed, sir. Where I'm at currently is I'm on the fifth floor of the parking garage. And so fifth floor of the parking garage, and we're looking west today. So I typically will rotate between the east and the west side because the runways for Salt Lake, I don't know if you're too familiar, but for those who aren't, they're basically parallel on each side of the airport. So similar to Portland or like DFW with their parallels. So yeah, I'm on the fifth level of the parking garage. It is a nice day. It was a little bit blustery earlier, but overall, it is a very nice day. Upper 30s, a little bit of a chill north wind, but we're looking south southwest. When we do broadcast from the east side, you'll be able to see downtown Salt Lake and the Wasatch Mountains better. So this is kind of like the west side of the Salt Lake metro area. And then if we pan the camera out to the straight west, like if I'm looking straight west, those distant mountains, if you can see in the background, so you go past those and it's nobody for 2 hours until windover. So yeah, we're on the far west side of the airport. Salt Lake stretches the metro area, and you guys have probably seen a map, but for those who haven't and are just new and unfamiliar, the metropolitan area stretches north and south. So it's like a long, skinny line of people that goes 50 miles south and 50 miles north. So, but yeah, if you look straight west where the camera is, those are past those mountains are the Bonneville Salt Flats where they set all the speed records. So, pretty cool. No. Okay, so the Jazz are coming to Dallas. Very cool. They'll probably, I think, would fly Delta. You know, they're not like they don't have an owner like Mark Cuban. Well, that's not true. Ryan Smith, the owner, the new owner of the Jazz, he's worth a couple billion. He may have a private jet, but not the Cuban jet. Yeah, so they are parallel. There's no east west runway here. It's It's like a 4,000, 4,500 foot where it's like a kind of a 1331 configuration, but the primary runways are all north-south. So you've got 1634 left and a right, and then you've got 1735. And those are the runways here in Salt Lake. But yeah, Dallas would be, Love Field would be an awesome place. And yeah, they'll most definitely hang out there. My guess is they'll probably be flying a 757 because that's what Delta's been using a lot for the charters. Oh, nice. I will definitely check that out for sure. I will most definitely check that out. Well, you can't argue with the traffic at DFW International. I mean, it's just nonstop, like every 45 seconds. New plane, new plane, new plane, new plane. You know, and if it's a clear day and it's a Monday or Friday, it's just nonstop. It's awesome. But yeah, there is a lot of traffic. I do like that. And there's certain hours where it's just like departure after departure after departure. Like Sunday, last Sunday was just 30 minutes straight of departures. Um, but it's mostly Delta stuff. So it's like, you know, like in Love Field, it's mostly Southwest, or DFW, it's mostly American. But the majority of the airport is Delta. You know, so you get a Delta hub right here, but still good variety. Yeah. Yep. All the live streamers, are there a bunch of them? I've seen two. There's like one Oz Gaming or something, and then there's another one, but I didn't know that there were a ton of so many live streamers out there. So I guess I'm part of the problem too. Which, to be fair, I won't do this all the time. I'll still do shorts, or like in my channel, I started Pips clips, which are like 60 seconds or less. So, yep, I know what you're talking about. I do miss the 380. Um, yeah, and Etihad was also there, and then they left. Um, I see Walter Oz. Okay, yeah. So I think I saw Oz, and I'll have to see if you do live stream once in a while too. But now I know they did, because they didn't, and they used to have KLM too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but also the Emirates A380, when they started the service, flew into DFW. Oh, they are? I didn't know that. That's awesome. They got into like a whole tiff or something with American over one world status or whatever. But if that's true, that's awesome. Now I definitely have to come back and see the family. I'm totally pumped. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I did not know that. So that's fantastic news. So that Etihad's coming back to DFW. Um, but for me, I was super pumped. I mean, by the way, does British Airways still do the A380 to DFW? So I had never seen one of those. So when they did that over the summer and I was there, it was super cool to see that too. But I like that they got Finnair from Helsinki. That's crazy, you know. Right. Yep. Now you're right with the American, the show goes through them. Okay, cool. I did know they KLM did go to Austin. They also go to, I think, Houston Intercontinental. But I do want to get out there and catch more. Pip with you here at Salt Lake City International Airport. It is a nice day. It's a Friday. Currently, it is 2:22 p.m. local and Zulu time for those. We're trying to teach Zulu here. It is currently 20, 21, 22 now. Yeah, no, 23, 22. Excuse me. No, 22. I got it all screwed up. Let me get it right. My eye was catching the Alaska inbound. So let me do that. The Alaska flight from San Francisco on a 175. Okay, I will do that. Thank you for the advice. I will definitely do that because I do have family in Frisco, and I always try and plane spot at Love and DFW if I get a chance. So thank you, I appreciate that. But for here, the best place. So what's cool about Salt Lake is the parking garage is right in the middle of the airport, so you can catch both sides of the runways if you can run a half or quarter of a mile. Ooh, that's a good question. That is a great question. So let me answer in just a second. That is Alaska 3359 inbound from San Francisco on a Embraer 175. And if you're new to the channel, thanks for the likes and subscribe because that is the best way to find out when we're going to be, where we're going to be, and why, or not why, but when. So that I usually put out a video the night before the morning of where we're going to be. So super helpful. Okay, so the question about Virgin. So, yes, they're officially now part of SkyTeam, but a lot of people may know too that Delta owned like a pretty close to a majority stake in Virgin. So they were already kind of like halfway there with KLM and Air France and the SkyTeam alliance. But that's a really good question now that they're a full-blown member because we've got KLM here, but it only does seasonal. So KLM only does in the summer, it goes from about April or to October, and then it's seasonal service. Last year, we for the first time got Eurowings in, and they do seasonal service. So no international carrier does year-round service here. Delta does London, Paris, and London or Amsterdam on a daily basis. So the question is Virgin going to come to Salt Lake? That would probably make a lot of sense, especially during the wintertime, because people love to ski out here and they love Park City and they love the mountains. And then also, if you fly into Salt Lake City, you're about a 2.5, 3 hours flight from drive, I should say, from Moab and Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon and all that. So, plus the mountains. So that is a good question. I have to ask my PR people, my buddies in the Salt Lake Airport PR office, but nothing yet. Hey, Television, thanks for dropping by. I know we talked 2 days ago, but hey, thanks, Aviation Overload. But Television, any word on the first class? Just thought I'd ask. I'll probably ask you that every time, but thought I'd check in. Nothing yet. Okay. All right. Well, I figured I'd ask. I'll probably ask again. 2 months. Okay. Does it usually take? I figure it would be about that time. I'm surprised. How long does it usually take if they're reviewing a first class medical? I wonder about that. That's a good question. Okay. All right. So 3 to 6 months is what we're looking at. All right. Oh, great. Yeah, so Salt Lake, you're right, DFW plane spotters. It is new. It was done late August of 2020, so like the summertime, the first summer of COVID. To answer your question, yes, but um, there's one real big negative, and I'll explain. So the airport is very nice. I don't think there's been an airport that has more bathrooms than this does, and so it's really fantastic. And the stalls are super spacious too. They're not like crammed in like Terminal C in at DFW Airport. So that they did a phenomenal job at that. And the terminal is there's two concourses. The terminal is wide. If you've been to Denver, you notice like it's wide, so a lot of people can get through. It's not narrow. So that's another bonus. So here's where I'm gonna share my beef in just a second. Ah, okay. Yeah, that would make sense. So they stole all the FAA people, which I to be fair, the FAA is like, it's a government job. It's not it's okay pay, but it's like great benefits. So, I mean, but that would make sense. Security. Yeah. That is DFW. Okay, so that's an 800. Yeah, that is an 800. 737 800. Yeah, I don't understand that. Yep, you got it. DFW spotters, the winglets. That's what gave it away for me. I was like, looks like an 800. Um, so you see this Airbus. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. Try that again. A320 inbound, Seattle. All right, so to finish up the Salt Lake Airport thing, overall, it's really nice. There are two big beefs that I have. Is there are, and they're still building, by the way, half of two concourses. So right now, if you look at, and I'll pan right here real quick. So if you look at this concourse, this is concourse A, which is the first one when you board or get into the terminal past security. And there's no like train or anything. You just walk through security and you're in concourse A. And that's fine. But they're also building a second half to concourse A. That's on the other side, the east side, that we can probably show on another broadcast. And then there's concourse B. And here's one of my big beefs. And what's up, infidel fireman? I see you down there. Didn't want to get lost in my train of thought here. But in regards to the two big beefs I have with Salt Lake DFW spotters, one, it's the walk to concourse A. It's close to a mile from the terminal. There's no train. There's no tram. There's just underground bridges. All right, man. Thanks for saying hi, Television. Enjoy Chicago today. Stay safe, bud. I'll talk to you soon. We'll see you again. So there's no tram. There's no train in between concourse A and B, which itself is a half-mile walk, close to a half-mile walk. So that's the one big beef. And then the other beef I have with Salt Lake Airport is the restaurants. They don't have like any they don't have any fast restaurants. They have a Panera, which you probably know of. There's a Cafe Rio, which is like a Costa Vida. And then other than that, it's like one-off restaurants. you might find in Salt Lake, like Squatter's Bar. So there's a lot of high-end restaurants that I think cater more to the business traveler and whatnot, as opposed to somebody who's just looking for like a McDouble or a Chick-fil-A sandwich. So I wish there was more like fast, faster restaurants. So that's my beef. Um, so yeah, how many terminals do they need for Delta A320? And that's true. So it's funny you mentioned that because in the last couple of months, Delta just signed a long-term agreement with Salt Lake, the city of Salt Lake, who oversees the airport, and the long-term agreements for another 20 years till 2043. So I don't think Delta's going anywhere. And so yeah, you'll see more of these great 737-900s and A319s and A320s here. However, I am hopeful that with Eurowings, which came in last summer, that more international flights will come in. So we'll see. But I hope that gives you a better idea of Salt Lake. Infidel Fireman, you are the man. How was this week of class? You done for the week? Non-stop action here. Back for 1 second. There's another 900. I'm going to make a joke that it's DFW Spotter's favorite airplane. I'll hang it around the terminal for a second here. So DFW plane spotters, I heard that they're going forward with Terminal F. Is that true? And thanks for the likes if you're just tuning in. We've had some deep conversations, and I'm just a talker, so sorry if I've gotten off tangent here, but love talking aviation with everybody. So that's one of the things you'll love is great conversations and knowledge. So we see this A220 300 variant block in. Yeah, so I'm wondering. Somebody told me this week that they are going forward with Terminal F, and I know they've been working on Terminal C at DFW Airport, but not to the full extent that they originally planned. I think before the pandemic. They might go that slow. Okay, so what you're referring to, like in 2025, I think you're pretty familiar. So there are certain provisions of the Wright Amendment that, even though it dissolved, they still kept some of the provisions in place, which was that, if I remember correctly, I was reading that it's either 2024 or 2025, like you said, that they'll stay separate. American won't fly to Love, and Southwest won't fly out of DFW. But yeah, that may change. That may change. I mean, shoot, they went from Midway to Chicago O'Hare, so never say never. I didn't think that would ever happen. Okay, so your favorite plane's the 777-300, not the not the 737-900. Infidel, I don't know. You didn't get to tune in yesterday, but I bought a new piece of equipment, so I hope you're seeing a little bit better visibility and view. I know it can be different on the streaming side. I see the direct feed, and so hopefully it's pictures a little higher quality. There's not much as stuttering when it's 1080 because I'm out at 1080 by the way. So yeah, you're right. It's not 4K. Um, so basically, I don't know, but Southwest always likes to be a part of everybody's party. So I have a friend who's a dispatcher there, and I'll bug him. So it is not 4K. It is currently 1080, 30 frames. However, I purchased what was so basically what I have is my computer laptop. Thank you. So it's my computer laptop. So it's a MacBook Pro. Camera I'm using today is a Canon R7 with 100 400 lens because I do like zooming in for you guys. And then I was able to get 720, but I used like a Canon utility for webcam, and it was not supporting the bitrate at 1080. So uh, I hit up B&H Photo and Video in New York, and they recommended an HDMI converter, and you could probably find one on Amazon for $30. I paid 70 for mine, so whatever. But I got it on Wednesday. In the last 2 days, it's been looking pretty good. So that's kind of been the difference. So I just got like an HDMI converter, and it acts as a webcam. So when you're doing the live stream, it goes direct to the webcam instead of having to set up the different software. And I know I don't use like OBS like everybody else does or whatnot. So that's just my thing. Okay, the iPhone, that's still pretty good. Yeah, that's a good question. As far as the phone goes, so this is episode number 14. Thank you, Aviation Overload. I appreciate it, man. It's so important. You know, if something looks bad or sounds bad, you guys got to let me know so I can fix it. So thank you. Yeah, and I know the panning or whatever, and I don't have the top of the line tripod, but you know, when you're starting out, you can't have all the things you want. But this setup actually works pretty well for me, and I like it. So, and as far as the iPhone thing goes, um, that should work pretty well. My phone's like the basic iPhone SE third generation, so I don't know how great streaming it would be. But my cable goes direct into the laptop. It doesn't go through um, like the ATM Mini Pro or through OBS. It just goes direct in the laptop, and I just set webcam, and so far the last 2 days, it's worked pretty good. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. But there's some other equipment that's on the dream list that saving up for, and hopefully once the you're able to donate soon through YouTube, we'll be able to afford it and help make the experience even better. Because I also want to educate, so it's not just about just plane spotting, but you know, I'm kind of an educator because I picked up aviation late in life, and so I really like it. Okay, right. Okay, thank you for telling me that. I was watching the stream yesterday, so I try not to go too fast. Maybe if I bump it up to 1080, 60 frames. So that's something to take into account too. So thank you, Aviation Overload. Appreciate that. So I don't want to pan too fast. Dalton, dude, what's up, man? Dalton, I've been looking for you and I can't remember. Oh, I know why. I know why I was waiting for you. Thanks, DFW Plane Spotters. I'll just try and be conservative and not like jittery because that it is live streaming, so it's not like a direct sat to sat connection. But if you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you subscribe and like, because that way you'll know when we'll be broadcasting next. I usually put out a video the night before, the day of where we're going to be broadcasting. And so if you're a subscriber, you'll just get a little notification saying, oh, Pip's got a new video. And it'll just be like 30 seconds saying, hey, we're going to be here and at this time. So people are in the loop. Well, thank you guys. I'll continue and improve it. The data connection should be fast enough because I actually tested it on my phone and the upload speed was 95 megabytes per second, and you usually need between 3 and 6 to get 1080p streaming. So I was like, it should be good enough. So it must be with the camera or the cable. We'll figure it out. We'll get better. Okay, so Dalton, I know exactly why I was going to talk to you because we had talked last week about like we miss all the international arrivals and variety. I was emailing the public relations department, the media department, and the PR department about Eurowings, and they told me they will be back beginning May 25th. So I know we talked about that and we all expected them to, but I was kind of curious. So they said Eurowings will be back beginning on May 25th, which is the Memorial Day weekend. So just thought I would let you know about that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited. Oh, bonjour. Welcome. Thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate it. To your question, they do not regularly operate the A350 from Salt Lake. That's a really good question, and I wish they did. You will rarely see it. So I'm crossing my fingers that it'll eventually happen. I guess you would say the biggest and the classiest airplane they operate out of Salt Lake is the A330 Neo, the 900, the A330 900, and that one goes specifically to Paris. So the other ones are London and Amsterdam, and Delta operates the A330 200 series, or the 300. I should say the 300s. So, but yeah, I'm crossing my fingers that they will start to operate the A350. My hope is that to kind of pan to the right, and I'll show you Concourse A. My hope, Bonjour Aviation, is that Delta just signed a long-term lease to continue being a hub airport here in Salt Lake City. And my hope is that with that, they'll bring back a couple of routes they used to have in the early 2000s, one of them being Tokyo. And if that's the case, I would think they would operate that on the A350 or maybe another destination in Europe. So I'm crossing my fingers. So yeah, I'm crossing my fingers on that one. And Dalton, I know that Eurowings does have a couple of A330-900, so the Neos, so they might operate it on that. That's what I'm crossing my fingers on. Oh, wow. We get both Team USA. If you missed earlier, Dalton, we had the Team USA A330-900 take off to Paris earlier. So you might want to catch that earlier in the stream. Yeah, so we had the Team USA livery, and then we also got the thank you. Yeah, I know, but you can always go back in the stream. Just go to the live section, and it was like in the it was just before 2 o'clock, so probably like 45, 50 minutes into the stream that they departed. Oops. Well, okay, so I don't know about that DFW plane spotters. I would agree with that. You got to remember, there's still a lot of Motor City in DFW, so or in Detroit, and it's the hub stopping off point for a lot of Asia still, even though Delta's getting rid of the Nagoya flight. And Bonjour Aviation, the yes, we do still have the seasonal service. We were talking about that earlier. I think that's going to start. Uh, 737 800 series there. Harsh words for Detroit today. But Bonjour, yes, the 787 service, I believe, goes from either mid-April or mid-May through October, and then it closes out for the winter time, which I never understood because a lot of people come to Salt Lake for the snow and the skiing, and Europeans. Forgive me for making a broad generalization, but it seems like there's a lot of people from Europe who would want to come ski here in Salt Lake and go to Park City and all that jazz. So yeah, for some reason we just don't have a other than Aero Mexico, which does an E190 service from Guadalajara. We don't have a permanent non-Delta international service. Okay, that would make total sense. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I still want that's Dalton. I still want them to operate the A330 or the A350 out of here. I think it needs to either go to Tokyo or oh, surprisingly, there's a lot of Polynesian, Asian, and this Dalton ancestry here. So I'm like, why don't you do like a flight? Because they already are going to do to Tahiti from Los Angeles. Why don't you do like a Salt Lake to Tahiti or a Salt Lake to Fiji? You know what I mean? And a piece of chocolate. So DFW's plane spotters. I love the opinion. It's a good point though. It's a good point. The dollar has to come down a little bit because now us as Americans, we get to travel abroad because everything's cheaper since the dollar's so expensive. Things are a little bit cheaper over in Europe. So, well, I think a daily service, because there's not that much seat differentiation between the A330 900 and the 350 900 series. So, yeah, I agree, Dalton. I wholeheartedly agree. As we see a Frontier A320 Neo, looks like it's going to be headed to this one, I believe, is Denver. Now, to DFW plane spotters, I have to say I'm surprised. I'm definitely a flight simulator. The new 2020. That's the only game I do. It's just that, and you can see some of my approach and landings on my channel, but that's the only game I play. So I'm under Pipe Hastings, so PIPE Hastings instead of Pip Hastings. And I just found out I was looking today, and oh, who was I talking to on the stream? It was Infidel Fireman? That's it. If he's still around, I saw the AMD 6950 XT video card for $700. That's like $100 cheaper than I've ever seen it before. So, anyways, but DFW plane spotters, I'm surprised there hasn't been any like new international airlines that, well, if Etihad comes back, that's great, but new ones. And then Qantas does now Melbourne and Sydney, but I'm surprised there aren't like more. Here's one. I'm surprised that ANA has not done to Dallas. I know they do to Houston because of the United partnership and whatnot, but ANA in Japan, I'm surprised they haven't done that to Dallas because Toyota's headquarters for America are, of course, in Plano, as you know. Plus, there's a lot of other business that is in Dallas. So, just me giving my 2 cents. Yeah, that's a good point. And did you know that the headquarters for One World is in Dallas as well? So you're right about that. That's a good point. But then I would counter argue. I know we got Japan Airlines in Dallas, but then what about why isn't like Cathay Pacific? Because they're One World. So that's my counter. Yeah, you could make that argument, but then look at Turkish. Turkish isn't One World. They're Star Alliance. And they announced like 2 years ago. Gotcha. So here we are at Salt Lake International Airport. Just a few minutes left in the broadcast. Had a fantastic time today, and with meeting everybody new. And if you're new to the channel, we'd love a like and subscribe. And don't forget to subscribe because that's the best way to find out when and where we're going to be next. So to DFW to make like the biggest One World Alliance super hub, so they would need to add next live. Hello, Khalid. How are you? Thanks for saying hi. Next broadcast might be tomorrow, depending if I go to Colorado or not. Might be going to the west part of Colorado to do some plane spotting, like in the mountains. But I'm going to take a look at the weather first. So if not, if I don't go to Colorado, it'll be tomorrow and then Sunday as well. So I think. So they need to the point of the super hub, the One World Super Hub, they need to have, they need Cathay Pacific. They need Royal Jordanian, which I think would actually work well, considering the climate and everything. They would need, and it would be a connecting point for a lot of H1 visa workers because they could connect through Amman to the Middle East. Yeah, Colorado. And then we need Colombo Airlines, or yeah, what's the Sri Lankan Airlines, I think. So and that would be like the super carrier. Oh, and also Royal Air Morocco. So Morocco's airline needs to fly to Dallas too, and then it would be like the mother of all super hubs. London, Dallas. Yeah, but counter. See, I'm going to hit you back. So then why do they fly to Chicago then? Because Royal Jordanian goes to Chicago, and they also go to New York Kennedy, which is technically a hub. It's not a huge one, but well, DFW is quickly coming up as far as traffic goes, and and double they are the gateway to South America, Central and South America, and from Miami, the Caribbean. So I just countered that with that. And thanks for the likes and the subscribes, everyone today. So it's been a great broadcast. DFW plane spotters and I are going to be best friends, or we're going to fight. We're just having a lively argument or conversation. And Dalton, we need to get more international carriers here to Salt Lake. So we're here in Salt Lake City International Airport. This is my home base. Yeah, you're right. You're right, DFW plane spotters. I'm just trying to be optimistic here. Plus, DFW is climbing up in the standings. I mean, Chicago is always a big airport, but DFW is just like growing by a million people each year. And that's especially after, if they do F sooner than later, then that'll especially be true. All right, Dalton, who would you want here in Salt Lake that we don't have? So we've got Eurowings Discover and KLM, and they're both seasonal. If I had to pick, I would pick probably. You know what? Why isn't British Airways? I know it's a Sky Team hub, so okay. If you want to pick another Sky Team carrier, like DFW Plane Spotters made a good suggestion for Virgin Atlantic. Why aren't they here? What would be another good one? Let's see. I'm trying to think Asian and Pacific here. Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah. Yeah, Virgin would probably be the best one. Virgin Atlantic would be probably the best one. Or maybe even Air France, because they're a Sky Team carrier, right? And I know we do it daily for Delta, but that hasn't stopped other airlines from doing double doubles like British Airways. American and British Airways both fly to London from DFW and Chicago and Miami. So that's okay. Yes, Korean Air, good one. I'll pull that one out. Yes, I was like, who's in Asia that I cannot think of? So Korean Air, absolutely. A three. I don't. Okay, Dalton, you know Salt Lake a little better. Did they even build any gates in the new airport that would accommodate the new that would accommodate the A380? Because I don't think there is. Yeah, exactly. That's a maybe. Okay, so I like Korean Air. I will. You know what? I'm going to send them an email just to bug them and say, hey, do you guys have any inbound Asian service? So, right? It's way too boring as DFW plane spotters knows. Here's another Delta 737-900 and another 737-900 and oh look, there's an 800 series. No, I agree, man. We need some good variety. I do want to, Dalton. I am going to try and get down to Provo, hopefully in the next couple days. It's probably going to be the most boring live plane spot ever. But Provo's got both Allegiant Breeze, and they also have a big overhaul base for corporate aviation. Duncan Aviation is the company name, and they do a lot of private jet overhauls. Yeah, we do have Hill Air Force Base here. We sure do. It's actually 30 minutes north in Ogden. Okay, cool. We'll let you know. But yeah, so we do have Hill Air Force Base. Yeah, it's just 30 minutes north of here, DFW Plane Spotters. And they do the F-35. So that may be an opportunity too, but you never know when they're going to be out and when. But they've got a couple of squadrons up there for Hill Air Force Base for the F-35. So All right. So the Southwest Airlines departure, this one's probably going to be our last. And then we'll sign off for the day. But it's been awesome broadcast. And thanks for everybody joining. Yes. So if I do Provo, it's got to be a warmer morning because that's usually when most of the departures are, as you probably know, and then it's not until the afternoon when all the arrivals and departures come back. So I would probably do like a 7 to 9 or a 7 to 10 broadcast out of Provo for the departures. Hey, thank you, Aviation Overload. Appreciate it, man. It's been a ton of fun. Yeah, morning for sure. So I just don't want to freeze my butt off because, as you know, there's like the state park there and the little gravel trail that you can walk along that they do a lot of the horses on. That's just short of runway 13. But I don't want it to be all muddy and everything. So yeah, you're not kidding, man. That gravel trail has everything from people to lions to horses to just about everything. And it's funny because the airport's right by Utah Lake, which is a large freshwater lake. So we might get other stuff there too. Thanks, Billy Bull. Okay, so we'll zoom out here again. We are looking here today. We were on the west side of the airport, so that's runway 16 right, 34 left. And our next broadcast, we'll try and do the east side, depending on how the winds shake out. Remember, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You too, Billy Bull. Take care. If you're new to the channel, make sure and subscribe because that way you'll know when our next broadcast will be. I always put out a video the night before the day of. So make sure and subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can also message me at Instagram at 23 Right Productions. So it's just 23R Productions. And thank you, DFW Plane Spotters. It was a lot of fun, man. We'll continue to do that. All right. Yeah. I may drive straight home and catch his channel too. So no Twitter yet, just the Instagram right now. And because I do some photo work as well. But in the meantime, we'll get out there. Just this is our 14th broadcast, and it's been a fun one. So DFW Plane Spotters, take care. Dalton, Khalid, Aviation Overlord, Billy, Infidel Fireman, some of the new people we met, John English, all of you. So nice to meet all of you and join the channel. And we'll talk to you again soon. So for now, be safe, enjoy your Friday afternoon, and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.